our skin is our very first kind of defense for our immune system. Our skin protects us from a lot of things, but our second support system, our second line of defense in our immune system is actually our mucous membranes. And so BreatheX is really good at supporting a healthy mucous membrane, which in turn heavily supports your overall immune response. Keep in mind that lung capacity is not a cough suppressant. It's not trying to hide your cough. It's trying to thin your mucus and help you get over the hurdle of whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
So when you first start taking it, you may notice that you're coughing a little bit, and don't worry, it's working. But you may notice that you're trying to cough up some of that mucus, and that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Now, you don't want it to be too extreme if you're ever coughing up blood. I've never heard of that happening from lung capacity, but of course, reach out to a doctor. But just keep in mind that you will see a little bit of an increase in cough, maybe when you first take it the first couple days.
Welcome everyone back to the Healthy Habit Podcast. Welcome to episode number 75, 3/4 of the way to 100. That's a landmark episode there, 75% of the way. We're talking life seasons today, and I'm your host, Dr. Dayan of Healthy Habit Medical Center. And today we're talking with Shelby Smith, the Education and Special Project Manager at LifeSeasons. She's a certified family herbalist, passionate about herbs, nutrition, and using food to heal. She has been with LifeSeasons for over 3 years now, educating employees and customers on the LifeSeasons formulas. And today we're going to talk all things respiratory health. A lot of people are struggling with respiratory different issues. Even this week alone, we had someone inquire about pulmonary fibrosis, if there's any type of help that they can get for that, any natural tools that we have for that here at Healthy Habit Medical Center and the health food store. And we're going to dive into products such as BreatheX and Lung Capacity here today with Shelby. And this is her first time with us here on the podcast. Welcome, Shelby.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. First of many episodes,
Yes,
I hope.
absolutely. I hope so too. So let's set the stage then on what we're discussing today. Why is respiratory health on your radar?
Well, just like you said, we have been having so many customers, so many clients coming in talking all things respiratory, all things allergies and sinuses. And of course, overall immune health is just a really big conversation all year round, but especially this time of year. I know myself, I'm really feeling the season change. I feel it in my sinuses. I feel it in my lungs. Do you feel that when the winter starts coming on? Do you feel that sinus change as well?
Definitely, especially it's just drier. Especially,
yes.
You feel that, and you need more water, you need more juices and things like that, more liquid smoothies and broths and things like that. Things are just drier. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're bringing up the smoothies, the soups this time of year. I can't get enough. I can't get enough.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. So those have definitely been on my radar because of the season change.
Absolutely. And then we'll kick things off. We want to cover about 2 products. That's a good average there for about 25, 27-minute podcast. And we'll kick things off with the BreatheX Sinus Support Formula here through LifeSeasons.
Amazing. So yeah, BreatheX is a very packed formula. If you're able to go in, if you're a listener, if you're able to go in and look at a label, or if you're a visual listener as well, we can show a label. But BreatheX is a very packed formula. There is a lot of really good stuff in BreatheX, but essentially looking at BreatheX overall, BreatheX really helps to support and soothe the sinuses. So if you have been sick or you're sick, I know I just got sick a couple of weeks ago and my sinuses were on fire. They were hurting so bad. My nose would not stop running. So I immediately started taking BreatheX. I know we can talk about kind of how that went for me, but that is a huge aspect of BreatheX. These ingredients work really well together to soothe the sinuses and support your nasal passages. And kind of in that same vein, something I really wanted to touch on was your overall immune system. As we know, our skin is our very first kind of defense for our immune system. Our skin protects us from a lot of things, but our second support system, our second line of defense in our immune system is actually our mucous membranes. And so BreatheX is really good at supporting a healthy mucous membrane, which in turn heavily supports your overall immune response.
Amazing. And so this product consists of citrus bioflavonoids. We have some herbs in there like nettle leaf and bromelain, and then vitamin C, quercetin. So what's your favorite part of this formula. I mean, the one thing I love about Life Seasons is how comprehensive and well thought out the formulas are. We've used them a lot clinically, and they're a regular amongst our customers here at Healthy Habits. So
I
let's hear
love to
your
hear
favorites.
that. I love to hear that. Well,
Yeah.
with Life Seasons, no matter what formula you're talking about, we're using therapeutic dosages. So we're using heavy amounts of ingredients that are really based off of clinical trials. They're based off of science, so we know what the efficacious amount of each ingredient is. With that also being said, we're able to look at research that shows what ingredients work best together. So I think there's a lot of really cool combinations of ingredients in here. So you've pointed out the citrus bioflavonoids, as well as the vitamin C. There's a lot of research that shows that those work better together. When you take citrus bioflavonoids with vitamin C, they work better together. I'm also a huge fan of kind of the holistic approach of this. We're not just thinking about the sinuses.
Right.
We're also thinking about, if unwanted invaders have entered the body, we need to make sure that they're being removed from the body. So I also love that we included nettle in here. Nettle's really good for runny nose, for watery eyes, but it's also really good for the kidneys. So you're making sure that your entire body system is working
Mm.
well and everything's getting removed from the body through the digestive system like it should be, which I think is a really cool addition as well.
Yeah, exactly. Nettles is an underrated herb.
It
Me
really
and
is.
Jim Boychek, store owner there, we always have a running joke how underrated Nettles is. So
I love that. I totally agree. I think it's so underrated. That's why I wanted to point it out because we get a lot of questions as well. Why is there metal in here? But
yeah.
it does so much. I also just want to point out the bromelain. Bromelain's really good at supporting a healthy inflammation response. So again, if you're feeling, that tension in your sinuses are burning, they're painful. Bromelain's going to be really good at supporting a healthy inflammation response and helping break down that inflammation. So really, all of the ingredients are supportive of a healthy inflammation response, but especially that bromelain.
Right. There's a new look to this product. Same great formula, but they did switch up the label a little bit there. If you're coming into the store, just look for that Life Seasons Therapeutics at the top. It's that purple label, Breathe X, allergy and sinus support. So what are we trying to do here, folks? We're trying to support the sinuses, soothe the nasal passages, maintain healthy tissues in the respiratory tract. Can you go into a little bit more depth on that second one? Healthy
Yeah,
tissues in the respiratory tract. What's going on there?
yeah, absolutely. So it does call out the respiratory tract, but I really find that Breathe X helps with healthy tissues really all over, especially in the sinuses and
Right. You
respiratory
mentioned the
tract.
kidneys too. Yep.
So, yep, the kidneys, exactly. And so I know for me, when I have an allergic reaction to something or if I've been sick, I feel that tension. I feel tired. I can feel that my tissues have been working really, really hard, right? Your sinuses have been working so hard trying to protect you.
Right.
So strengthening up those tissues is just very, very important. In the next product we can talk even more about tissues, but all of these ingredients are so supportive of healthy tissues, especially vitamin C. We know vitamin C is good for the immune system, but I don't know that vitamin C gets enough recognition for how important it is for our collagen production,
Yeah.
which in turn helps our tissues. So vitamin C is a really big player there, as well as the quercetin, as well as the citrus bioflavonoids.
Amazing. Yeah, that's the thing with natural medicine and vitamins, herbs, and minerals. You could have named this product different things. It's not just for
Yeah,
breathing, right?
so
Like you,
true.
right?
It's so true. I actually gave a training on this to some stores a few weeks ago, and someone said, "Isn't this more of an inflammation product?" And I
Right.
was like, I love that you said that. It kind of is. And I mean, it's doing so much really targeting the sinuses that that's why we named it Breathe X. But it absolutely can do so many things and help the body in so many ways. One other thing I just wanted to quickly say is
Yeah.
you did point out the new label. There is new labels for our Life Seasons products, but the formulas themselves have not changed. So if you've been a BreatheX fan for years, don't worry. The ingredients are in the exact same amounts, exact same way that you've always known and loved them, just with a new look.
Amazing. So per bottle, we're getting 90 veg capsules. And how would one go about taking this?
Ooh, great
One a day?
question.
How would we dose it?
Great question. So you're going to get 90 in a bottle. So the recommended serving size is 3 capsules a day. Now, when to take that is totally up to you. One
Yeah.
thing I love about BreatheX is it's not going to make you drowsy. So I know a lot of people listening are probably herb fans, do a lot of traditional medicine, but something about BreatheX, it is such a great kind of bridge product for people who are maybe entering the natural product world. It's a very easy swap for a lot of traditional over the counter allergy medicine. So it's really easy to kind of get people to start taking it. But with that being said, when do you take it? A lot of times people are a little hesitant because they're so used to feeling drowsy from allergy medicine. So
Yeah.
that is absolutely not the case with Breathe X. You can take it morning, noon, night, whenever you want that allergy support. And it is absolutely safe to take daily. In fact, it's actually encouraged to take it regularly. It's going to build up in your system and work better if you're taking it consistently. So when you take it, a lot of people like to take it in the morning, but you can take it anytime.
And here's just I love testimonials because it's coming straight from actual benefits from the
Yeah.
marketplace. This is the best thing ever. This is from Sarah Burris, expert in nutrition for 6 years. It's caused a serious decline in my allergy symptoms. I used to take over-the-counter allergy meds combined with an antihistamine and a decongestant to get through allergy season. Now I just take this, 2 capsules a night. 3 on high pollen days gets me through the season. And that's a perfect example of how it really depends on the person for dosage, because on the bottle it tells us 3 a day, but
Yep.
she gets benefit from just 2. So did you want to add anything to that, Shelby?
No, absolutely. I think that's a really, really great thing to point out. I always say start low, go slow.
Right.
You could always add in more capsules as needed. And if you can get by with 2 capsules giving you the results you're looking for, then why would you take that third, right? It's going to help
Yeah.
your bottle last longer. So I appreciate you pointing that out. Some people do take less of a serving size, and it works great for them.
Amazing. So if people walking in through the store right now, they're hearing us talk about Breathe X, the allergy and sinus support formula. When is one a candidate for this? How do they know, should I choose this or should I choose a different type of product? And we will switch here in a moment to lung capacity here, but give us a little take home then on the Breathe X formula here through Life Seasons.
I love that. I think that's going to be anyone with sinus concerns, whether you have long term sinus issues that are always bugging you, or it's more acute, it's more in the moment, maybe allergy season, right? Springtime, fall time, you're seeing those allergies flare up.
Right.
Those are going to be kind of ideal. But I will also say, I'm somebody, I have allergic reactions to all sorts of things all the time. I try a new shampoo, I might have an allergic reaction. So, Breathex is something I also like to keep on hand for those times. If you're exposed to something you weren't expecting, it's not just sinus support. It absolutely is a great sinus support, but not just sinus support. It's great for allergies.
Right. So think allergy support, folks. We get people
Yeah.
literally every day coming in saying, oh, it's allergy season, and their eyes are all puffed up and
Yep.
teary-eyed, itchy,
Yep.
sneezing or coughing a lot. So classic allergy formula is a good way to think of this. And
Absolutely.
here's a great stat from lifeseasons.com where we see some 30% of adults, that's 30% of adults, and 40% of children are now affected by allergies. So it's definitely becoming a part of everyday life, as you can see here.
It
So
absolutely.
thanks for clarifying that formula there. And then we'll switch off in the second half of this interview here with the lung capacity formula. So again, that was Breathe X, sinus support. If you're writing this down at home, that's Breathe and then dash X, allergy and sinus support through Life Seasons. And now we're switching to lung capacity, but it's Capaci-T there. So let's hear about it. Let's hear about lung capacity, the respiratory support formula.
Awesome. Okay, lung capacity is another one of my very, very favorite formulas. I love lung capacity. And I want to start by saying if you are listening right now and you're trying to decide, should I take lung capacity or should I take BreatheX, just know they are safe to take together. And a lot
Okay.
of people do take them together. So it doesn't have to be a one or the other. But lung capacity is going to be focusing on your respiratory health. So it's
Yeah.
going to be working on bringing oxygen into the lungs. So helping with your actual lung capacity, just like the name says, helping with how much oxygen you can bring into your lungs. But it's also going to be really supportive of the respiratory tissues and the respiratory tract, as well as, and this is a really, really big aspect of lung capacity, it's going to help thin out mucus. So if you've had a cough that won't go away, maybe you were sick weeks ago or you're sick right now and you have a cough, it's going to help to thin out that mucus and help it leave your body. And one thing I will also just say about lung capacity before I dive into the ingredients is that this
Yeah.
one works really quickly. There's amazing ingredients in here, which we can cover in 1 second, but it works very fast. And that's something I just always want to give people kind of, some hope with, because sometimes when you're sick and you have a cough, it feels like it will never go away.
Right.
But lung capacity works really quickly.
And amazing here we have, again, vitamin C, vitamin D. We have Boswellia serrata there, the resin, which is a
Yep.
classic herb. That's that frankincense. That's in the
Yes,
Bible even. That's one of the oldest herbs we have known
it
to
is.
man. And sorry, I just scratched myself here. I got a little bleed going there, so
Oh
that's all
no.
right. You just got to keep going. We got mullein in the
Oh no.
formula. Let's hear your thoughts about mullein leaf. That's an incredible
Yeah.
classic respiratory herb. Let's dive into
Yes.
mullein a little bit here.
So Mullein is amazing. Mullei's really soothing. I appreciate you calling out the Mullein. That's always my first one I like to
Uh
talk. Mullein is very soothing to the tissues. It's very soothing to the lungs. In fact, I believe historically Mullein has been a very traditional herb to smoke, which I find a little bit ironic, but
Interesting.
really interesting. Very soothing to the tissues. It also is really calming to the mucous membranes. So again, when we come back to that first, second responder of the immune system, your mucous membranes, you want to make sure that those mucous membranes are not too inflamed. You want to make sure that they're working as well as they can to prevent you from getting further sick. And so it's really soothing to the mucous membranes, which also in turn is really important because I know that when I'm feeling, all mucusy, I can feel the mucus in my
Right.
chest. I just want that out of there. So Mullein, along with a lot of other ingredients in here, are going to help to thin that mucus so that you can cough it out. Which does lead me to, I guess, not a warning, but just a little note. If you decide to try this, keep in mind that lung capacity is not a cough suppressant. It's not trying to hide your cough. It's trying to thin your mucus and help you get over the hurdle of whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
So when you first start taking it, you may notice that you're coughing a little bit, and don't worry, it's working. But you may notice that you're trying to cough up some of that mucus, and that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Now, you don't want it to be too extreme if you're ever coughing up blood. I've never heard of that happening from lung
Right.
capacity, but of course, reach out to a doctor.
Sure.
But just keep in mind that you will see a little bit of an increase in cough, maybe when you first take it the first couple days.
So there's that NAC in there, eucalyptus. One thing I want to highlight, it's right underneath that mullein right here, which again, as Shelby just mentioned, it helps calm mucous membranes and it's just good for overall respiratory support. So I'm glad mullein's in there. But cordyceps, which is a
Yeah.
mushroom, let's hear your thoughts on this. That's the only mushroom in this formula. The rest are vitamins, herbs,
Yeah.
minerals. Let's hear your thoughts on cordyceps mushroom. Why is this included into a lung formula?
So just like it says, cordyceps are really supportive of tissues and really supportive of how much oxygen you can bring into the lungs.
Right.
And one thing I love about cordyceps is they are a really great example of the doctrine of signatures. So the idea that plants grow in certain ways, plants, fungus, they grow in certain ways that indicate to us how they can help our body. And cordyceps grow at really, really, really high elevations. Which I just find to be so interesting that in turn they help us breathe better. They help with
Right.
how much oxygen we can bring in to our lungs. So I really love that. It's a great example of the doctor's signatures. But cordyceps, and I see you're pulling up studies, cordyceps have been studied for a lot of different lung conditions.
Right.
And been found to be very beneficial for a lot of different lung conditions. What are you finding here?
Yeah, exactly. This is just to add to the discussion here. We have protective roles of cordyceps, which again is in this lung Capaci-T formula. It protects against lung fibrosis in cellular and rat models. A lot of research starts off in rats and mice, but this is from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology back about 11 years ago now, 2012. It's a classic Chinese medicine herb.
It
And you can
is.
see here it's actually a fungus slash mushroom. It's used as a tonic to soothe the lung for the treatment of fatigue and respiratory diseases. So, again, we're not trying to give any medical advice here, right, Shelby? But it's
Right.
just something that people can add into their natural medicine toolkit.
Yeah, absolutely. And cordyceps, I think, are very recognized for just their impact on general immune health. I mean, mushrooms in general are, right? Mushrooms are finally getting the recognition that they
Right.
deserve for their impact on a lot of things, especially immune health. But cordyceps were specifically chosen because there's a lot of studies that show their ability to help increase how much oxygen you can breathe into the lungs and again support that tissue.
Right. And I'm sure
Um,
that's another reason why a lot of athletes and bikers, cyclists, long distance runners, they use cordyceps in their training
yeah,
protocols for recovery and even leading up to events because it helps open up those airways and then therefore they're going to get more oxygen delivered to their working muscles, right?
absolutely. And that leads into such an important demographic of people. So I know when we're talking about these products, it's really easy to think about people who are sick, especially lung capacity. I have a cough. That's the first people that we
Yeah.
think of when we think of lung capacity. But you just mentioned such an important group of people, and that is our athletes, especially endurance athletes. I actually have what I call my burpee challenge with lung
Okay.
capacity, where I recommend people, do your burpees, or your stair climbers, or anything that really gets you heavy breathing, and then take lung capacity for a couple of days. Try it again and see if you can do more. I bet you're. willing to bet you'll be able to do more and you'll feel that difference in your lungs. Like I said, lung capacity works really quick. And so it's great for athletes. It's great for distance runners, different distance athletes in general. If you're training a half marathon, a marathon, lung capacity is so, so great for that.
That's a good take home. Get a lot of athletes that shop here and
Yeah,
customers here at both the store and the clinic who want to
absolutely.
improve their respiratory health. And here's again a quick summary on cordyceps, rich in antioxidants, and it's been shown to improve overall volume of oxygen taken in by the lungs. And
Yep.
again, what's going to happen there? It's going to be delivered to all the muscles, cells, and tissues in the body which require oxygen for optimal health. So,
Absolutely. So it's really just a big, I don't know, it's just a piece to the puzzle. It's a piece of how important oxygen is, right? Just like you said, oxygen delivers all of our nutrients to our body, to our organs. And one other thing I just want to point out
yeah.
as far as demographics of people, another really important demographic of people for lung capacity is going to be people who maybe have trouble sleeping due to not being able to get enough oxygen. I think more of us struggle with that than
Good.
we
Great point.
realize, and it impacts our health in every way that it possibly could, right? Not getting enough oxygen while we're sleeping is impacting our sleep. Like I said, I think more people are dealing with it than we even realize. So that's another really important one. If you're a snorer,
Yeah.
lung sleep is really great.
I'm glad you highlighted that, like sleep apnea, people on CPAP machines. You
Yes.
can't go wrong with that. And I want to highlight CoQ10. That's in this formula as
Yeah.
well. Most people, when they hear CoQ10, Shelby, they think of the cardiovascular
Yeah.
system. You know, now a lot of people are waking up to the fact that statin medications like atorvastatin and rosuvastatin and all these other statins can deplete our CoQ10 levels. So tell us a little bit about CoQ10 and its effect on the lungs.
Yeah, absolutely. So CoQ10 is, just like you said, a lot of times people know it for its cardiovascular impact, which I do think
Right.
is a really important reason that it is in here. Because when we're thinking about oxygen getting to where it needs to go, we want to make sure that our circulatory system, our cardiovascular health is working the way that it needs to. So it is in there to have a positive impact on our brain, a positive impact on our heart. But CoQ10 also, again, really comes down to being beneficial for tissues. So when we're thinking about the tissues in our lungs and respiratory tract, CoQ10 is incredible for that. So CoQ10 is just one of those ingredients. It checks off a lot of boxes.
Right.
We're breathing in all this new oxygen. We need to make sure it's getting where it needs to go. And CoQ10 is going to help out with that.
And honestly, this price point is unbelievable because it's like getting three supplements in one. I mean, you're literally, like we just said, CoQ10, you're getting
Yeah.
cordyceps and bromelain and NAC, and you're even getting boswellia, like we said,
Yep.
vitamin C and D3. So this should easily be, can easily be like a $64.99 product. And this is straight from
It's true.
lifeseasons.com where you can add it to the cart from their website. You can even call our store. We ship
Yeah.
nationwide. Did you want to add to that? Do you think I'm right on that?
You're absolutely right on that. I always joke that lung capacity is kind of like a multivitamin
Right.
because it's checking all these other boxes. It's looking at inflammation, it's looking at your mood, right? You've got vitamin D in there, bone health, all sorts of important things. And that's great. You guys ship nationwide. I did not know that. That's very cool.
Yeah, you just call us folks at 602-252-6000 and then we can ship anywhere. New York, we've shipped to Canada, all across the country, North America, or you just come down to the store here at 6029 North 7th Street and grab a bottle of lung Capaci-T. And we also highlighted that Breathe X sinus formula, specific even more to allergies and sinuses. You quickly did mention, I don't know if people caught it, that people have taken these together, right? You want to elaborate a bit more on that?
Absolutely. You can absolutely take these together. I talk to customers every single day who take them together. If you go read reviews on our website, you'll see people who take them together. A lot of people at the company take them together. Um, if you are trying to decide which one you want to take, here's how I would just quickly think about it.
Yeah.
Breathe X, again, is going to be targeting your sinuses. Now, they do both uh, help different aspects, but Breathe X is going to be mainly focusing on your sinuses. And lung capacity is going to be mainly focusing on your respiratory and your lungs. So if you're trying to decide, figure out which one is maybe more your root cause. Is your issue happening more in your sinuses or is it happening more in your lungs? If it's both, I strongly recommend taking both. You if taking all those capsules at once feels like a lot, you can absolutely
Right.
split them up as well.
Amazing. Coming into the tail end of our interview here with Shelby Smith, her first time on the Healthy Habit podcast, hopefully first of many. We're gonna have to set this up again through I think it was Amy. So What's a good take home then? We're coming in about 1 or 2 minutes left. We've covered sinus support, allergy health, lung health in general, which means uptaking more oxygen to all the tissues and soothing that entire respiratory tract. So, what should people know as they're shopping here in the store? They're literally listening to us right now as they're shopping. So, give us a little take home on today's interview.
Well, I think my biggest piece of advice to people, the thing I've been just recommending to people nonstop, is not revolutionary, but it
Right.
is always drink more water. If you're struggling with sinuses, if you're struggling with whatever it might be with your mucus, whatever it might be, drink more water
Yeah.
and get good quality sleep. Start there. No matter what supplement you're taking, good quality sleep and enough water are always where you need to start. So that's my advice. That's my take home.
And then it's been a while since we've had Life Seasons on here on the podcast slash radio show. Probably, I don't even know if we did it this year. It's been almost over a year since we've talked to Life Seasons. So you've been with them now over 3 years. What's a good message about Life Seasons as a company? Why do you like them so much? Why did you choose to work with them in general? Tell us about Life Seasons as a
I
company.
I appreciate that question. Thank you. I love Life Seasons for so many reasons. Our our motto, our slogan is nature works and science proves it. And I think in our formulas, you can really see that come to life. We're using therapeutic amounts of every single ingredient.
Right.
Every ingredient you find in any one of our formulas is based off of actual research. What's the amount that research shows us is effective? We're never using proprietary blends. We're always using the full amounts of full ingredients. So you can see exactly how much you're getting, which I really, really love. And our quality standards just go above and beyond. So you really are getting incredible products for, like you pointed out, a really great price. You can't build a formula like this on your own. So some really incredible formulations have gone into the Life Seasons products that I'm just crazy about. I love them.
Amazing. We could feel the enthusiasm coming through. Appreciate that. Appreciate your time, Shelby. And we got to set up number 2 here soon. Thanks for
Awesome.
coming on.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.